This episode of What the Tech is brought to you by IT Pro TV, an easy, entertaining approach to online IT training. Visit itpro.tv/what-the-tech and use the code WTT30 for a free 7-day trial and 30% off the lifetime of your account. Harry's. Stop messing around and get started shaving with Harry's today by claiming your free trial offer. $13 value for free, just covered the shipping by going to harrys.com/whatthetech. And by FreshBooks. For a 30-day free trial, go to freshbooks.com/WTT and enter in What the Tech in the How Did You Hear About Us section.
What the Tech?
Hey everybody, welcome to What the Tech. I'm Andrew Zarin, and this week I'm not joined by Paul Thurrott. I have no idea where Paul is actually. Paul is somewhere. I'm guessing he's flying or he flew somewhere. He's saying that I betrayed him on the internet. I'm joined by Brad Sams from Thurrott.com.
Paul is he's on a plane. Well, actually, he's landing because I just pinged him if he was going to write a post. He's flying to Colorado for, I think, a little, I don't know, quasi-vacation, I guess, before Build next week. So yeah, I guess he didn't.
Next week, you're going to be very busy.
Yeah, we were busy this week, too. I guess he just didn't think he had enough time scheduled on an airplane. And so he put himself back on an airplane. It was, genius move on his part.
Yeah, I saw you this week. I saw you in the city because Microsoft held an event a week before Build.
They did.
Yeah, they held an event which a lot of people have a lot of questions about. A lot of people were excited about it. Some people not so much. I have so many questions that I had submitted to the show this week. I actually was not going to do a show because my second child was born yesterday.
He's congrats by that.
Yeah, thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you. You saw me actually run to the train on Monday.
Yeah. Did you make the train?
I did make the train. Yeah, I made the train. Good. At one point, I got paranoid that my kid may be born on Monday, and I started running to the train like a lunatic. So we'll talk about that and a bunch of other stuff. But before we do, I want to thank our sponsor, and that's IT Pro TV. And I want to mention that they're running this awesome giveaway. Right now, actually, if you go to their website, if you go to itpro.tv/May the 4th, you could sign up. You could choose a side. Now, this is awesome because today is May the 4th, which is, I guess, Star Wars Day, right? International Star Wars Day, official Star Wars Day. And you can pick a side. They have this awesome video that they produce here. You can watch the video here. Actually, I could play it right now. Play it a little bit here. They produce this awesome video. And you could go and pick a side, and you could win an annual subscription membership to the website. Just provide them with your first name, last name, and email, and there you go. You automatically enter into the contest. Great. It's a great giveaway, and it's a great service for anybody that is looking to further their education in tech, in IT. They have a whole plethora of classes and seminars. Next week, when Paul is here next week, I'm going to show what I have been doing on IT Pro TV and what I'm trying to learn. Whether you want to do a course on ethical hacking or Windows servers or even Photoshop, they have it all there. Every day they're producing content, which is great. You could sign up, get a 7-day free trial, and 30% off the lifetime of your account if you go to itpro.tv/what-the-tech. We'll have it in the show notes. Every single week we put it there. They have a free membership, which is a standard membership. You get access to the course library. You get access to their live feed and several free courses, you'd be surprised on how many great free courses that they have. They have a standard membership that gives you access to the entire library and the content that's produced daily at IT Pro TV. And they have a premium membership, which gives you all the benefits of the standard and the basic membership. But you also get access to 100 step-by-step virtual labs, which is great. Next week, I'm going to show off what I'm going to be doing. You get all this content on your laptop, on your Mac, on your PC, your Apple TV, your Chromecast, your Roku, Amazon Fire, everywhere. They're offering over 2,000 hours of content and more than 30 hours added weekly. IT Pro TV, I want to thank them for supporting What the Tech. So, Brad, let's begin. There was an event on Monday.
Yeah, a little thing.
Little thing. You were in town. Paul was in town. We got together. We had a couple drinks. We had a lot of food. We met a bunch of people. We did a meetup afterwards. So what was the overall message for this event, if people don't know yet?
The overall message was that Microsoft's not giving up on education, despite the fact that in the U.S. specifically, Chromebooks are eating their lunch. And that's really what this event was about, was trying to get mind share back in that segment. And that was their message, was that, hey, we're here to play. We've got new features and all that good stuff. And that was it. Obviously, they announced some new hardware. They announced some new things with Minecraft and education. They announced some new Intune products, specifically targeted education. And they also announced Windows 10s. So those are kind of the big highlights from the event. And yeah, obviously the new Surface laptop is what everyone focused on.
Before we go to the Surface laptop, which I'm very interested in, let's talk about Windows S. What is Windows S? Why would you want Windows S? Does this benefit me in any way if I'm a home user?
Yeah, kind of. So Windows 10 S is what we've been referring to as Windows 10 Cloud for a while. The short story is it's Windows that only runs UWP applications. So it can only run things from the store. It cannot run anything third party. Yeah. It will not run .exe. Well, probably not completely true, but it's not supposed to run .exe files. And it's supposed to be this kind of secured, locked down, streamlined version of Windows that they claim will give you better performance because Win32 applications can kind of tinker around with the underside of Windows, where UWP applications are containerized. And so they can guarantee performance and longevity of the platform, and it won't slow down and bog down over time.
So we kind of saw this a couple of years ago, right, with Windows RT.
Yep.
And it did not work well for them. Didn't end well.
Nope.
A lot of confusion.
Not even close.
A lot of confusion. Because it still looks like Windows. It doesn't look like something else, and you can't run applications. So here's a couple things here. One, I go into a store, right? They're going to sell these in stores. They're going to have hardware partners, obviously. Yep. So let's say it's an Asus or it's an HP. It's this $189 device. I go and I buy it. I take it home. I want to install Windows. I want to install an application on here, and I can't do it because I can't install this application. Now, I have the choice to upgrade to Pro, correct? That is the difference here. I could upgrade to Pro, which is fine. I think it's $45.
It's 49. It's $50. It's $49.99.
$49. So not that bad. But what are they going to do to kind of avoid this mess of a situation that may happen? Because Windows is Windows to 90% of the people using it. They don't understand the difference between Pro and Home and now Windows 10s.
Yeah, this is a really good question. So, wow, Skype is doing Skype things.
Yeah, it is. Didn't like the Windows discussion here.
Wow, that is impressive about how that just went straight downhill.
Oh, so here's the best part. So did your video die or mine?
No, I mean I'm still getting video back. It's just it's like 8-bit audio.
Oh wow. Still, huh?
Well, there we go. Now the video completely dropped.
Look at that. Look at this. This is great. Connection is slow. Now that's a lie.
That is a bold lie. I've got
a bold face lie.
I've got a very good connection here, and I know you do as well. I've got 300 down and 75 up.
Yeah. There
is absolutely no reason why this connection should be anything other than stellar. It's just one of the cyclical things of Skype.
Oh, there it is. Now it's back. Okay. Now it's fine.
It's jumping back up. Who knows? Okay. Who knows? Maybe there was a squirrel chewing on a T1 line somewhere.
Quite possible. So have they kind of addressed this whole concept of, okay, this is how we're going to kind of deal with the confusion that may happen with Windows 10s? No.
So I tweeted this out earlier. It's like, I hope Microsoft has a really bold and large campaign in their back pocket on how they're going to educate the user. One of the things they're doing is that if you buy a machine with Windows 10s, like the Surface laptop, you can upgrade it to Windows 10 Pro for free up until the end of the year. So for those people who buy it and aren't really sure, they will at least kind of have an out, and it won't cost them anything. But I don't know what they're going to do to try to differentiate that and try to avoid that confusion. I think their saving grace here is that when they launched Surface RT, what was that, 5-6 years ago or whenever it was, it didn't even have a start button. And so it was, not only could you not run traditional apps, but it didn't even look and feel like Windows, like the Windows we've known for decades. And so they've obviously not doing that because it looks exactly like Windows 10. I mean, it really is Windows 10. It's just Windows 10 with no third-party stuff or no third-party applications. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, and they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to clarify this because somebody's going to go, especially the Surface laptop. Somebody's going to spend $1,300 on this thing. Let's just say next spring. And they're going to get home and realize, okay, I just spent $1,300 on this for my kid, and now I got to spend $50 more
to get Windows
to upgrade. Right,
get Windows, yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to be a problem until the end of the year, but that scenario is going to happen. It's going to be it's going to leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth.
Yeah. I mean, even the fact that now with the Surface laptop, which we'll get to, but the actual hardware, but with the Surface laptop, they get a free upgrade, but they have to do the upgrade. It's not coming with Windows Pro, right? So that's still a little confusing, right? Because you know how many people, and I'm telling you, that people like things the way it is, and they don't want to even think about upgrading, right? And it's an operating system. That's even the worst type of upgrade.
Yep.
People are going to look at this and say, I spent $1,000 and I can't install this on Windows 10. Windows sucks.
Yep. It's
a bizarre risk that they're willing to take on this thing.
The thing is, though, is they're not going to lose anything, though.
No.
I mean, so people have a bad experience. I mean, what's at the end of the day, they're not really going to lose much because if people are pissed off, they can say, hey, look, you can get out. And I suspect that they'll probably be pretty nice, too. What I really wanted to hear them come out and say, because we knew this was coming, is that if you buy a Windows 10 S machine and it costs more than $700, $600, pick a number, then you can upgrade at any point to free or the Pro for free. If it's under that, then yeah, you got to pay. But after that point, I mean, there's people who you can buy a Surface laptop that costs $2,200 and it's going to come with that Windows 10s on it.
Yeah,
like that's insane. Yeah. That then you'd have to pay another $50 to upgrade that.
Yeah, that's a strange risk that they're willing to take on their image again. I'm trying to understand better as to, like, I understand why this exists. I don't understand why it exists in the harmonious package that is the Surface laptop.
Yeah.
That is the part of this that's bizarre. So at the event, what was the overall, I guess, reaction amongst your peers, your colleagues about this new version of Windows? I guess Windows S, this bogged down version of Windows, I guess.
You know, it wasn't, because we all knew it was coming. It wasn't a big shocker. I mean, at that point, we'd known about Windows Cloud, which was the internal name for it since, I want to say, January. So it wasn't a big surprise, and I don't think too many people were shocked by it. But the shock is going to come from the consumer who isn't going to know what they're buying. And they're going to see Windows 10, and they're not going to know what the hell that S is for. And they're going to get home and then open it up and be in this world. Now, granted, it's going to look and feel just like Windows right up until they try to download Chrome. And then that's when things are going to go bad.
Which is most people. Most people that use a computer, I mean, Chrome, Skype, Firefox are the first applications that you really go to download, right?
Yep.
I can't wait till the moment comes that this, you know, somebody buys this laptop for their son so they could do photo editing and Photoshop, and they can't even install it, and they're getting that, you know, they have to install, you know, pay $50 more. Let's talk about the hardware a little bit. Actually, I want to take a moment before we do that. My question to you was, what do we know about the hardware partners? What are they going to be producing with this, like HP, and are they getting ready for back to school with this thing? I mean, what's the drive for them?
So there's an entire line of super cheap PCs that were shown off, and Microsoft, I think, said on stage they're going to have PC partners selling Windows 10 S devices starting at $189, and they had a bunch of these things. And I will tell you, they're great for probably somebody who's under 5 years old. Like they looked and felt like something you would buy at Toys R Us. Like we bought my kid a little like laptop thing because she saw me working all the time that like helps her learn letters, and it was like $39.
Yeah.
It reminds me of this. Like these things were not great, but they're like Intel Celeron based things, a couple gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, extremely cheap, exactly what you would expect when you pay $189 for a laptop. And they're all going to they should be coming out before back to school, because when else are you going to buy one of these things?
Why this over a Chromebook?
That's a great question, and I don't have a great answer for you. They would tell you that, hey, we have better management device features and all that good stuff. But the thing that they didn't come out with, Chromebooks have as a feature, I believe it's called Power Wash.
Yeah, Power
Wash. That allows you just to wipe that machine and get it back to fresh in seconds. And I was waiting for Microsoft to come out with that. They came out with something about a way to provision these machines a little bit easier with walking around with a USB drive. You plug it in, but like that's even not a great solution.
Yeah, the demo.
Because
I think that in the demo they were saying like this school in so and so did 600 machines in one day, just popping USB sticks in them.
Yeah, like what was the guy doing? Like when he's probably doing lines of blow in between each one, because it'd be so boring. Like you pull it out, plug it in, wait, pull it out, plug it. Like what? Yeah, like that's not a smart solution.
No,
I don't know.
No. I'm curious to see what more the partners do, because they're getting their butts handed to them by the Chromebooks. I mean, listen, the Chromebooks have their problems too, right? Because they were supposed to have Android app support on all these devices that they had listed, and I mean, a tiny fraction of those laptops are now supporting Android apps. I have a Chromebook that I bought just because of the press release they put out saying fourth quarter 2016 we're going to have Android app support in here, and guess what? They never came. Now we're halfway down the year in 2017. We still don't have it. So they have their issues too. But the reality is people want to get the most bang for their buck, and if they're spending $200. They want to feel like they bought a real product, not a toy. Yeah,
and you're right. But the thing with Chromebooks and even iOS, the iPads in the education sector, here's the problem. So if you're a school that's running Chromebooks or you're running iPads or whatever, somebody is going to have to go to management and say, hey, I think we should switch back to Windows. And so okay, they make that pitch. They're putting their career on the line for that, because then they're going to have to go buy all that stuff. And granted, I know education sectors, you have to buy a lot of machines every year. But if you're going to turn over an entire school district onto a new OS or go back to it or whatever you want to call it, it has to fundamentally be better. And it can't just be the same or even close. It has to be a justifiable reason to upend your entire environment to do that. And I don't know if Microsoft came out with anything that was like, oh my God, this is going to change our lives.
Yeah. It's very interesting. We're going to see how this plays out in due time, I guess. Over time, we're going to find out more. I want to talk about the hardware. We're doing a quick show here today because I wanted to talk about this with somebody, and who better than Brad? Nobody. Paul cannot talk about this. Brad is the perfect guest for this. I want to talk about this, and I'm going to head right back to the hospital. And I know you have a hard out at 2 o'clock, so this is perfect. We're going to get through this and then move on. But before we do, I want to talk about a sponsor, and that's Harry's. This is for people that want to experience a great shave. I have been a big Harry's supporter. I use a Harry's razor every day. I have a beard, but I still shave. I clean it up. And I was one of these guys who would buy these cheapo razors forever and ever, because it worked well for me. Until it stopped working well for me because they got cheaper. There's a reason why people are switching over to Harry's. And they're jumping on this amazing, amazing train that they've created here, where you get the razors delivered to your door. You never have to worry about standing online and waiting for someone to open it up. And a blade is just $2 compared to $4 for what you're paying at the drugstore. Here's a great offer that they have for you guys. If you go to harrys.com/whatthetech, you sign up and get the free trial set. That includes the razor handle, the 5-blade cartridge, and the shave gel. All you have to do is cover the shipping, which is $3. That's it. This is a great gift for anybody in your family. It's an unbelievable gift. I have given out a whole bunch of them at this point, and it's a $13 value. So, $10 at the end you're saving on this. You just pay the shipping, which is unbelievable. The blades are high quality. I get them all the time. I get them probably once every couple months because I like to hang on to. I order a whole bunch. You get the, like I said, the handle, the razor, and the shave gel, and the travel blade cover. You just cover the shipping. Go to harrys.com/whatthetech. I want to thank Harry's for supporting the show. Let's talk about the actual device, the thing that people were waiting for, and that is the Surface laptop.
Yep.
very nice looking device. I don't know how I feel about the cloth.
Yeah, so it looks nice.
Looks
It's
pretty, yeah.
Alcantara or whatever the heck you want to call it or pronounce it, and it looks and feels fine. That's not my question or qualm with it. My question is, what's it going to look like in 3 years? Like,
Yeah,
after
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
3 years of greasy palms, 3 years of spilling Coke or whatever, oil from your dipping breadsticks in and all that crap. Like, after 3 years, what's it going to look like? Is it still going to be a viable machine? Because remember, they're pitching this for education. So they're saying, hey, buy this your freshman year. And when you go to graduate as a senior, it'll still be working just fine.
It's going to have like all the filth that you could imagine on it.
Yeah. Like, are you going to have to vacuum your laptop? Like, this is going to be an interesting thing. I mean, It looks great. And I'm hoping that they've done this stuff on the type covers with the Surface Pro 4, that they know kind of the longevity of this material. But we don't really know how it's going to work when every day your palms are sitting on that thing. How's it going to be? Like, that's the biggest question out there about that material. Nobody's done it before, and maybe there's a reason why nobody's done it before.
I'm sure somebody brought this up in R&D, like, hey guys,
I would hope.
Like people do so much on these things, and laptops are technically, you take them everywhere with you. So every day you come back, you have your lunch, you're typing, you're working, you're out at Starbucks, you're wherever, and you're still typing. So have they addressed this in any way? Has anybody asked Microsoft directly, why?
They just said, I asked during like kind of the shenanigans of where you can just go and get your hands on it. I said, hey, what's the longevity of this? Is it going to work? They said, yes, in our testing, it should be fine. And that's really all that they're commenting on about it. They didn't say how they did it, what their feedback was, but clearly they've done it. The other thing I want to know too is what happens if you peel that stuff off? Like, could you actually just take it off? Like, what's underneath there?
Yeah.
I'm sure obviously it's just glued. So you could probably get some solvent in there and get that thing off. Not that I really want to spend all that money just to rip it off, but I'd be curious to see what's actually underneath, if it's just bare metal or what they did.
I'm willing to bet that there's going to be a protective case for the top. It's going to be like a plastic film that you put on top to protect it. It's like your grandmother's furniture. You go there and then they got the plastic over the seats, over the love seats. This is exactly what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
So what do we know about the hardware? I mean, this is actually amazing. It's a bizarre combination between Windows 10s and this premium device. I mean, it's a high quality device. You get it in an i5 and i7. Stunningly beautiful. I think it's a unique design. The edges look nice. I'm looking at the photo right now. I would say that this is a very nice device and I think it should have come out a couple years ago. But why this combination?
Yeah, this is a MacBook Air killer, is what this is. And I don't really say that too lightly. I mean, you look at this thing, they compared it to Apple's MacBook Air, which Apple has been way too slow to not even innovate, just quite frankly, update that MacBook Air. And it's a very popular laptop. And Microsoft said, hey, look, they're not doing anything with that. We can build something that's better, and we don't even have to try all that hard. And so they built a better MacBook Air for that crowd, and they made it in... I think the color options are gorgeous, by the way. In person, the burgundy and the cobalt blue, both great choices. Although you do have to spend extra money to get them. Those things cost $12.99 if you want those colors. But I think those colors are really going to help sell. And it's somebody who said, you know what, the MacBook Air is great, but it's old. And let me see what Microsoft is doing. And now they have an actual device that competes with it. It lacked USB Type-C, which I think is a big oversight. Now, they give you some bullcrap about how our current customers are using the Blade charging Surface Connect charger, and most people have USB Type-A. Valid argument, but they're saying this device is going to last 4 years. And 4 years from now, I firmly believe everything's going to be USB Type-C.
So it comes in 4 different colors, right? It comes in platinum, a gold, right? Gold, and then the burgundy, and then the cobalt blue.
Yep.
And you have different packages. You have an i5 and an i7. The i5 starts at... Actually, which one is the regular price one? Because every one that I'm clicking on is $12.99 now, not $9.99.
So you got to get like a silver... I think it's silver or whatever.
With 4 gigs. Okay, with 4 gigs of memory. Okay, so let's say you do 8 gigs of memory, which is perfectly fine. Do 8 gigs of memory on an i5 and with 256 gigs, and you're paying $12.99, which is up there. It's Mac territory,
Yep.
Same thing. And then if you want the i7, you get an 8 gig with i7 is $15.99. If you do 16 gigs, it's $2,100. So you're pricing this out at $2,200, $2,199. and it's not coming with Windows. It's coming with Windows 10s.
Yep.
That's so weird.
Yep.
That's so weird.
I mean, that's the thing. You're going to spend all that money, and it's going to come with Windows 10s. Their pitch was, we're going to build what they believe will probably be the highest priced Windows 10s device on the market, because anybody else is going to want Windows 10, at least Home, more likely Pro with something like that. And I think that's why they did it, because everything else in the Surface lineup is supposed to be like category defining, like the Surface Studio back here, the Surface Book, the Surface Pro 4, all kind of have these unique features about them in the hardware that made them different. And now, I was going to say Apple, but Microsoft is now doing that with the Surface Laptop purely in terms of software, which doesn't really resonate as well or justify as well. But I'm happy they built this thing. It's a laptop we've wanted since, I don't know, whenever the first Surface came out.
I would say 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Right? Like I would say probably 3-4 years. This is the laptop that we always wanted. Here are some more questions for you, because who better than Brad to answer this? Why now? Right? Why now with this device? And two, I personally see them in about 8 months when this device is out on the market and they try to revive, the next version comes out, when the revision of this device comes out, they're going to drop this whole Windows 10s on this device immediately. There's going to be so much backlash from people that have no idea what they're buying, and they're going to go to the Microsoft store, and then they're going to go back after they purchase this thing and say, hey, I can't install my nonsense application on here. I can't install Chrome, or I can't install Firefox. So that's going to go out the window, which is good. That's fine. That's what we want. But why this device now and not with the last hardware announcement, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I don't know. They said, hey, we're listening to feedback. If they're listening to feedback, they would have built this thing a lot earlier, because we've been saying that for a while.
The Surface Book should have been this.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Surface Book, I'll be curious to see what they actually do with the Surface Book line, because it doesn't really make as much sense anymore. What I honestly think they might do is just create one SKU of Surface Book 2, the next one, and it's going to be like $2,700, and it's going to be pitched as the ultimate Windows laptop, and that's it. Because why would you, they overlap in price now. You have $12.99, especially when these things are on sale, Surface Books. So they really do. But on the other flip side of the coin, I do give credit to Microsoft. They're actually getting the timing right in one aspect. Typically, they launch these things at the wrong time. You'll actually be able to get your hands on a Surface laptop starting June 15th, which means they're actually going to finally make the critical back-to-school market. So if you're going to buy one for the upcoming school year, you'll be able to get it, which is quite good for them, because typically they launch these things in October, which for the holiday season I get, but if you're wanting something for back to school, that doesn't make any sense. So at least from that aspect, they've got the market release timing figured out.
So I found something interesting on their website. If you go to their website and you plan on purchasing one, the i5 and the i7 both are available, shipping on June 15th, except if you want 16 gigs of memory. Then it's October. It's August 15th.
Oh, wow.
So the 16 gig model comes out 2 months after the 8 gig model, which is strange. But I guess there's a reason for that, which I don't know. I don't know if it's sold out already or what.
I bet it's low volume.
Probably low volume. Is there any other news that we probably are not aware of this device? So they're obviously going to push this thing big time for back to school. And it comes with 1 year Office 365, which is fine. Did they, during the announcement, what do we know as far as the other hardware goes, as far as webcam and as far as video graphics, things like that?
I think it's Iris Graphics is the highest graphics card that you can get in there, which is from Intel. We didn't really hear much about the webcam. The 14-hour battery life is besting the MacBook Air, and so that's a pretty big selling point. Honestly, I quite like that it has 14 hours of battery life. That's good enough. They'll pitch it as all day, but we all know that all day is 24 hours, not 14. But that's kind of it. There's one USB Type A. There's a display port. There's no Thunderbolt. There's no USB Type C. And there's only one USB port too, which is a little skimpy for something that's that price range. But that's the way it is. Touchscreen supports a pen, although a pen is not included in the box. You have to buy that separately.
I could already see the Apple commercial kind of countering this, where they go to install Chrome and then you can't. I could already see that commercial. Somebody's coming up with that totally right now. I have a lot more questions. I know that I had some submitted to me from the chat room and a lot of other people regarding this because you and Paul did great coverage of this over the last couple of days. Mary Jo too. Mary Jo did some great coverage of this too, which all of you were there, and all of you were at Rattleline Home, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Before we continue, let's talk about our sponsor, and that's FreshBooks. The easiest way to do your online invoicing and online billing and online payments. Accepting payments has never been easier with FreshBooks. I have been using another company. I used FreshBooks years ago in 2012 when they first started doing podcast advertising with us. And I realized how easy it was to do my online invoicing. It was becoming very, very simple for me. And unfortunately, I moved over to something that was terrible. And due to stupidity on my behalf. And I had a very difficult time collecting money that was owed to me from vendors, from advertisers, things like that. FreshBooks, I went back to FreshBooks about a year and a half ago, and it changed everything. Daily reminders, it links up with your bank account. You could have the money right in there. I mean, it's unbelievable how easy it is. And you get a 30-day free trial when you sign up. Using our URL, go to freshbooks.com/WTT and enter what the tech and how you heard about a section. If you have a small business, this is for you. For small business owners, this is a lifesaver. Collecting money is make or break for many, many people. And with FreshBooks, they make it super easy. I really like the fact that you could do online payment reminders. It also does your expenses. Your clients can pay. You could link your FreshBooks account to your credit card and debit card. So next time you expense that business lunch or the tank of gas, it'll show you automatically in your FreshBooks account. It also does Insights. FreshBooks can show you whether you are not a client, whether your client has looked at your invoice or not, which is very important when they say I never got it. Go to freshbooks.com/WTT and sign up there. Thank you, FreshBooks. Let's see, Brad. So your take on this device, you like it? Thumbs up?
I do. I think it's going to be their best-selling Surface ever. I really do. Despite its faults, I think they're going to sell a lot of these things.
$1,000. $1,000.
Yep.
Let's talk about that mouse that they also had in all these images. What is that?
So I haven't actually played with one because they weren't letting us touch a bunch of this stuff. But it looks like it's just an updated version of their Arc Touch mouse, and it just has a nice large touchpad on it. And if it is exactly what I think it is, it's going to be a wonderful travel mouse. I'm actually waiting to get my hands on one. And you can also get it conveniently in matching colors to your new laptop.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
very, very nice.
It's a simple little thing.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy. And then obviously you can always get the Surface Dial, which they showed on stage. Although I will tell you, if you're going to buy a peripheral with that laptop, I would definitely get the pen over the dial. The dial is neat, but its functionality isn't all that useful.
Yeah. This over the HPs and the Dells, huh? For you, this laptop. As far as design goes, not functionality, because we know that most people are going to want to put in full-fledged Windows, right? But
sure.
As far as functionality goes, as far as design goes, those HPs, those Elite books, and the Spectre lineup, I mean, they're making some beautiful devices. My question is it too little, too late for this device? If this device came out a couple of years ago, very different discussion we would be having, because the OEMs had not really caught up with the changes. They were still experimenting with these kind of Frankenstein-type laptops. Luckily, HP kind of got their act together, and they're making these beautiful laptops now. Dell's doing the same thing, except for the fact that they put a webcam on the bottom on some of these, which is bizarre, because that's what I want to see. I want to see right up my nose when we're shooting. How is this going to fight in that market of premium, good-looking, high-quality laptops for most people?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, because you're right. Dell and HP are making wonderful laptops at this point. You're not buying a Dell because it's not well made. Like that used to be true many years ago, not anymore. And so the differentiator between the Surface laptop and some of the other stuff isn't a whole lot. Honestly, you can get better ports and everything else on some of these OEM products. And so the reason why you'd buy a Surface is, one, it's going to have good quality. But again, that's true at many vendors these days. And so why buy the Surface laptop? Honestly, it kind of comes down to just the design. It's got very nice color options. It's very modern looking. It will hold its own value just from aesthetics. It's not going to go out of style or anything like that. They just look nice, and they're different enough that, like, I have an XPS 13 back here, and it's silver and black. I think we've seen silver and black on every single laptop ever, except for maybe like the Apple's like rose gold laptops. And Microsoft found a way to make them, or not orange, I was going to say burgundy and cobalt. So is that enough to sell them? I honestly think it will. People are pretty superficial about this stuff. I'm the same way. That burgundy one, I love it. And I honestly might end up buying it because it looks very, very nice.
See, right now, if I was in the market for a PC, for a laptop, I would most likely end up getting the HP Spectre, one of the Spectre.
Great laptop.
It's a beautiful piece of hardware. The Dell is also second for me. My heart always belongs to Lenovo because that was one of the best laptops I had a ThinkPad from many years ago, and they always worked for me. Always worked well. Which you guys have a first impression of the X1 Carbon on therot.com actually right now. It's the X1 Carbon, right, that Paul did? Let's see.
I believe
Yeah,
so.
X1 Carbon, first impressions. Another beautiful product. So the PC market has really gotten their act together. The concept of Macs are better because they, try to find a Mac-like product that's not a piece of crap on the PC market does not exist anymore in that universe. I would say that the PC market is more straightforward and probably a little bit more aggressive as far as design and style-wise than Apple is at this point. Microsoft can, in my opinion, penetrate this market. I don't know if they're going to, if this Windows 10S on this device is the smartest idea for them.
I agree that it may not be the smartest idea, but they need a showcase piece for Windows 10S. They need Windows 10S to succeed, and that's why they're doing this. It wasn't really an option. It has to run that OS because Microsoft needs a hero product for the market, and they know their OEMs weren't going to create it, and so they had to go and do that.
Listen, we saw the Pixel. This is their Pixel?
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is.
Yeah. But I mean, way better looking. But it's a very interesting market that we're in. I made the joke on First Ring Daily that we're gonna get a Surface phone, and I obviously I didn't think we were getting a Surface phone, but I did get a lot of emails from people bringing this up again and saying, since we're seeing Microsoft experiment with concepts like this, would it be an appropriate time? Is this the moment for a Surface phone?
No, it's not.
And I said no personally, but it's dead, right? That whole concept is over.
We're not going to see a Surface phone. We're going to see something called Surface Mobile would be my guess. It's going to be a 5-inch device running an ARM chip, immaculate hardware, and because it's running an ARM chip, it supports LTE, so you can go take it to a carrier and have them do it, put it on their network. It's maybe data only or whatever, use Skype Mobile or Continuum or something like that. But we're not going to see, looking for my 950, like an actual what we would call a phone. Microsoft even said that. They said, we will get back into the mobile space, but we think the concept of a phone is dead. We're moving on to what comes after the life of a phone. So
yeah. It's a very interesting time, and it's a very different Microsoft. Very different
much
Microsoft.
is.
I mean, think about this, right? I mean, I was there. I'm not going to discuss some of the discussions that we've had, but a lot of those complaints of the Windows 8 time, with the aggressiveness of force feeding, Windows 8 and how it worked, and just a disaster with that story. That's all gone at this point.
yeah.
And it's kind of necessary to kind of evolve because Windows 10 is the best version of Windows that they ever did, and it's continuing to grow and get better. And luckily, it's getting better with every new version. But when Microsoft takes a risk on not the device, but pushing software on a premium device like this that is not premium software. It's not for the premium user. It's an interesting idea. And listen, who knows? Maybe you're going to have all these schools order these because they do order. Actually, you know what, Brad? They might be onto something because my wife's school, they get MacBook Airs. Everybody has a MacBook Air.
Mm-hmm.
The teachers have MacBook Airs. A lot of the students have MacBook Airs. The classrooms have MacBook Airs. So if they're spending that $1,000 anyway, might as well hold it down so you're not going to get people downloading everything that they want to download.
Yeah.
So
No,
it does kind of make sense. There is
There is
market for
value.
this.
Don't get me wrong. There is value to Windows 10s. I don't want it to come off that way. The problem is that they're pushing everyone through the Windows Store, and there is not a lot of value in the Windows Store right now. That's the problem. Like, I understand what they're trying to do, create a better OS, a modernized version of Windows. That's perfectly fine. But guys, you got to have a store that supports that model. And right now, I would argue that they don't have that store in place.
Yeah. Well, maybe this will be good encouragement. Because I've been developers, right? That's what we need.
Yeah, I would change the exclamation point after developers into question marks at this point.
Yeah.
I think that's a more fair assessment of that market share for Microsoft.
Yeah, very interesting. So what have you been up to, Brad, before we wrap up?
Traveling, man. We got New York last week. We're going to Seattle next week, and then going to New Orleans the week after that. And then I'm going on vacation for a week, and then like 2 weeks after that, I'm going to Amsterdam. So it's
Amazing.
Lots of time on an airplane.
A lot of time. You and Paul have been really all over the place over the last couple of months. So
yeah, this is kind of our busy season. Like right now, and then there's a little bit of a lull in the summer. Like we do one thing in July. August is usually pretty dead, and then September and October usually pick back up, and then quiet until January.
Yeah. And you do bonus content on Thurrott.com. You have a Thurrott Premium service, right? People could sign up for Thurrott Premium and get a daily podcast with you and Paul.
We do. We put our debauchery together every day. Andrew, you should go watch it if you don't have an account. We can make sure you can see it, but because you're in it a little bit. I posted up the video of the behind the scenes stuff that we recorded all last week. Or I keep saying last week.
Did you record me running? I didn't. So I have an account. I didn't. Do you have me running like a lunatic to the train? Because that would be hysterical. That should be the fade out for the day.
No, I don't. I didn't even think about that. You are in it a little bit though. When we come out of Rattle and Hum, you're walking around, and you're definitely in it.
God, what was I saying? Jeez. I guess you need a Thurrott Premium membership to find out what I was saying. You also do a podcast outside of doing it with Paul, right? You do your own podcast.
Yep, every Friday morning at what time do I do it? At 10 a.m. So it's called the Sam's Report.
Yep.
And you can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Thurrott. You can Google it. You can Bing it, or whatever the heck you prefer to search. You can DuckDuckGo it. I do it every Friday. It's much shorter than Windows Weekly. It's like Windows Weekly, but short. It's approximately 30 to 45 minutes in length, and just kind of really just drills into it rather than Windows Weekly, which is 2.5 hours.
I think that's how it goes, right? Windows Weekly is like 2 hours something, and then you have What the Tech, that's an hour, and then you do yours. So it's like, actually, people should start off with you and then move up.
Yeah, it's just a condensed format.
Yeah, of everything. That's excellent. Guys, that's it for this week. I'm headed back to the hospital to see my wife and my kid because they are there for another day. If I wish Brad had the moment that I realized, oh crap, I'm having a kid on Monday. So it was actually great. I was fine. I was out and we were hanging out. We were doing this whole thing, and then I had this realization that I'm having a child, and I ran away. You know what? I'm gonna ask Brad about that actually in a little bit once we're done with recording. If you're watching this live, stick around. I'm gonna ask him a question about this. Guys, that's it for this week. We will be back next week. Take care.